Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Tri-County Accountability. Today here we're at Jacob's Loft and we're here to talk to the Mayor of Yarmouth. Today is her mayoral candidate meet and greet. So this is at Jacob's Loft, which is located at Sweeney's Funeral Home, which is kind of to me, an ironic place to hold something like this. A funeral home for someone that's career's ending. So let's go in here and see what the crowd's like. And she has apparently a speaking moment at 2:30, so I'd like to see what she's going to say about that. Hi there, how are you today? I'm good. Just upstairs?
Yep.
Perfect.
Up the wooden steps.
Awesome, thank you very much.
And then to your left.
To my left, thank you. I gotta say, up until I heard about this being here, like this event being here, I had no idea that this spot was even a location that people rented or used as a space for events. That was kind of interesting. It's quite a nice spot, actually. Old, obviously. I feel like the building itself is quite old. I don't know quite where I'm going here. No further drinks beyond this point. This is slightly off. Hi there. Good, how are you? Yes, I am.
I'm Pam.
Hi, Pam.
I've probably met you.
We have. We've sat down before in the past and had a couple conversations in the past.
This is where I live. Yes. Are you going to do that for me? Yeah. Thank you.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very good, thank you. I don't want to be on camera.
Okay. I understand that, but so I guess we'll start with that. You had made a comment on Facebook that in public you're not allowed to film individuals.
You can't go. People need permission.
No,
you can't
no.
go into a workspace.
That's I wasn't in a workspace.
You were in town hall.
Which is publicly accessible.
It's publicly accessible, but it's still a workspace, so you have to ask somebody's permission.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so I'm
Absolutely
not going to argue with you.
No, it's not an argument. It's actually already been ruled upon by the Supreme Court of Canada. I'd like to just point out a heritage moment, which is something that I think we've all seen and we all know about. And there's one specifically. It involves an individual named Etienne Parent. I don't know if you're familiar with that individual. It involved his incarceration in 1838, and it was because he was a journalist. And the individuals that incarcerated him didn't believe that his type of journalism was allowed. And that's become a heritage moment because it's a contentious topic, especially when we have freedom of press in Canada under the Charter Rights of 2B. And when we have individuals that are being paid by tax dollars, right? And so every employee at Town Hall is paid by tax dollars.
Yes, they are.
So
but they're employees.
Exactly.
They're not your employees.
They are.
They are not.
As a member of the public, they are.
No, they are
and
not.
they're accountable to the public. And this has been ruled upon by, like I said, the Supreme Court of Canada.
Good.
And any bylaw that would infringe upon that.
I don't think there's a bylaw because that's local.
Exactly, and I'm just saying, so I was removed and trespassed from Town Hall for filming, correct?
Yes, because you're in there filming people in their workplace.
Which is allowed.
Sticking your phone in their face and they're not wanting to be filmed and you're still doing it. So you're wrong. And we can argue about it.
I think that verbiage of sticking your phone in the face would be inappropriate.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's inappropriate. Inappropriate because I'm trying to be kind.
I'm being very kind. I'm not trying to be disrespectful whatsoever.
Listen. You cannot walk into a workplace and tape somebody. You just can't do that without their permission. So,
you absolutely can. It's called.
I'm telling you, in Town Hall, you don't do that. You don't do it in Town Hall.
Well, I'm not. My freedom of press isn't to be restricted.
Well, I know, but you're not the press.
I am the press.
No, you are not.
So we have freedom of the press in Canada.
Okay, but you're not the press.
And I have a channel that I disseminate information to actually more people than your YouTube channel does.
I don't have a YouTube channel.
The town of Yarmouth does. And you're a representative of the town of Yarmouth.
I don't have a YouTube channel as
the town
of
Yarmouth does.
And we post everything online.
The town of Yarmouth absolutely does have a YouTube channel.
I'm sure they do.
And they post town meetings on there.
Yeah.
And
so it's also posted
we have freedom
live
of the press.
And it's on Eastland,
Yeah,
so people
yeah.
probably don't go
Yeah.
to YouTube. So.
And I actually spoke.
Sorry, just excuse me. Jack, can you help me with the coffee?
Yeah.
I cannot figure out this machine.
So are we still? Is there still a speaking at
Excuse me,
2:30?
Yeah.
That's
I don't
fine. We're
wanna be
just.
on film.
That's fine. We're just in a meeting here.
A meeting?
Yes, this is
not a meeting.
This is a gathering. A meeting.
yeah,
A meeting. Gathering.
yeah.
We can
So if the
place
public doesn't
semantics.
give you permission to
That's
record
not
them?
true. That's not true.
Yeah, you're.
It's not true. It's just not true.
Does it look okay? Is it gonna?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just
Thank
asking
you.
if there's still a speaking at 2:30, if that's still planned, because I'd like to just record that as well. If there's a speaking at 2:30.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I was just asking. Thank you.
I would object to that.
Pardon?
I would object to that. Being in this crowd and you're bothering us, disturbing us, with intentions of using the content in a way that we are not comfortable with.
So
So I would ask you to turn that recording device off if it happens to
Well-
fall upon my face.
well, I would
You
say
seem very
that
unprepared.
this meeting was made public made available to the public, and I would say that anybody that comes here, if they're uncomfortable with being filmed, that this might not be the place for you.
Do I have to leave because I don't want to be on?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm saying if you feel uncomfortable to the point that you feel like it wouldn't. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I absolutely am. No, it's not.
That's my premise.
No, it's not. It's called single party. It's called single party consent in Canada.
Privacy issue.
Okay, and you're entitled to your opinion.
Better look it up.
I have looked it up. Previously, I've spoken with attorneys as well, and I'm working with an attorney.
There's no attorneys in Canada.
Yeah. You're very.
See, you're talking about nomenclature right now.
I'm talking about.
So David Fraser of McInnes Law isn't an attorney.
He's an attorney.
He's not a lawyer. If you'd like to talk about verbiage, I'm sure we're familiar.
Because I
We don't
think
want this.
I'm sure-
We don't want this. Please let
Yeah.
us. Let us.
Just
we're
let us-
trying
I
to
just
get
came. I
these.
just came to ask
We're
questions.
being.
Like I said, I'm not being
But
disrespectful
you're taking all
whatsoever.
of her time, and that's not
I'm not
fair
taking
because
her
we all
time.
want her time. So
Then
please
speak
just-
with her.
just
Speak
let
with
it-
her.
just-
Nobody seems to be having any conversations. Everybody seems to be focused on me and my filming, which
Because
is
we don't want you here because you're.
Oh,
don't flatter yourself.
well, it's just the tone of the
Are you filming
room.
right now?
Absolutely.
Okay, have you got permission from anybody?
I don't
here?
need permission.
So you're disregarding people's privacy.
So it's called single party
Excuse me,
consent.
we have
Certainly.
people coming.
Absolutely. I expect that. Like I said, I wanted to come film the crowd. I wanted to speak with people. So I
Hello.
don't understand the issue.
I hope.
Then maybe you should stand outside and record.
Come on
I
in.
hope.
But this is a public event that I was invited to. I even messaged Pam and said that I would be here, and she said,
Sorry,
"See you
we
there."
just had someone come that doesn't want to be recorded.
That's
You're
okay.
really disturbing things
How?
because
Because
they're
I'm
not
recording?
going to come around the room and talk.
They could. So how is my camera any different? How is my camera different? See, Zach, we're having another recording issue here. They're very
It is
upset that I'm
a big
recording,
issue.
and we know that in Canada it's single party consent. I was actually invited to this
There's
event.
also being courteous.
I am being courteous, like even Pam said, I'm being very courteous and respectful. I feel like I'm being attacked.
You're not being attacked.
I feel like I
People
am.
I know, but people have asked you not to film.
And I can respect their
And you're-
opinion
But you're filming.
because I have a legal right to.
Okay.
Because I'm a member of the
But
media.
we do not
All right.
have a legal right to have us not.
In
record.
public, at a public
Yes.
meeting, there's single party consent. Absolutely not. Just like this building probably has security cameras that filmed us. Just like when you're walking down the street and ring
Mind
cameras.
Sharing with us your first and last name. and
Absolutely.
your contact
Absolutely.
information.
My name's Dryden Perry.
Can you also tell us where this is going?
It's going to go on my YouTube channel, Tri-County Accountability.
Okay, that's good enough for me.
Like it's very simple. I'm very transparent. I'm very open. Like I've spoken with you in the past. I've had very cordial communications with you in the past. I've spoken with G. Brar in the past. I've spoken with attorneys. I've even tried to reach out to your office and speak with you about the situation at hand. I had great conversation with Wade Cleveland the other day, and he's on my side in this situation about the trespass. So these are things that need to be addressed.
Yes, they do need to be addressed.
And I don't think members of the press, even if you don't believe that I am a member of the press, which you stated that I'm not,
Yeah,
and that's okay, you're entitled to that opinion.
everybody can open up a YouTube channel,
Exactly.
first of all.
Exactly.
Secondly, out of respect for the public, which I'm trying to do, they don't want to be taped and you're taping them.
I'm
So-
trying to cover an event with a mayoral candidate.
Okay, All right.
That's what I'm trying to do, which
All
is
right.
local news, which we don't have local news anymore. Why is CJLS not here?
Good.
Yeah. What do you want to do an interview with me, and then you can kind of avoid.
I
the
want
tension
to.
here?
I want to listen to her speech. That's what I came for at 2:30.
Okay.
You know.
And this is the type of resistance that I receive from as a constituent. And I'm being mocked. I'm being laughed at. I'm being told things that aren't lawfully true. And it's
I don't think that. I just think people can get uncomfortable.
exactly, and people are uncomfortable with the paparazzi as well, but they still have the right to take pictures of
for
celebrities and things like that. And we're talking about members of the public, and we're talking about their expectations of privacy in public. And individuals that are in public don't have an expectation of privacy. Now, there are some limitations to that. I can't remember the exact name of the case law of that, but it refers to children and exposing them in a sexual nature. Now, no individual in Canada, as a single party consent, it's not against the law to film anybody in public without their permission. That if it was, then at the Congrès parade that we had, everybody filming in that parade would have been violating the law. Now we have a 2B charter right.
But I'm not arguing with you.
Oh, I know. I know you're not. I know you're not, man. I'm just explaining it, right? Like I have viewers like, and of course, and I'm not trying to make anybody uncomfortable. Like if I was Eastlink, would I be making somebody uncomfortable? Like I just disseminate information to the public, right? And even if I have 1 viewer or 1,000 viewers, I'm still disseminating information to the public, and I still have the freedom of the press under the Charter 2B of Canada, right?
I'm not arguing with you.
So, like, I think we see the disconnect here when it comes to filming. Like, I don't understand. 50 years ago, people that used to film, people would gather in front of the camera and smile and laugh and want their picture taken. And now we live in such a world where that's not really a thing anymore. I've never tried to be rude. I try to be quite cordial in my interactions. And I feel like the town has treated me poorly. I appreciate your phone call back that you gave me the other day. I'm sorry I missed it. I was actually dealing with my kids at the time, and I tried to call right back, and it sounded like you were driving.
I was.
Yeah. So that's I understand that you were busy and you're out of the office. But I do appreciate your timely call back to me.
Yeah, no problem.
Because I think that this situation that we're dealing with is important, right? Like we have individuals that are being trespassed from town hall, which as a carpenter, like how do I go pick up a building permit if I submit an application for that? How do I go to a town hall meeting to redress my government? If I was to have missed the deadline of submitting my voter registration form, I would have had to have picked up my voter registration form at the town hall. But by doing so, I would have been in violation of a trespass that was unlawfully placed on me, right? And been subject to a fine or imprisonment of up to 90 days based on the bylaw. And I never went in front of a judge. Nobody. So I'm trespassed for 5 months from town hall. So I can't redress my government. The government has put undue hardships on me based off of my charter right of filming. And it's explicitly because I was filming. Like there's no other reason, and they've admitted it on multiple platforms, in the video, in this video that I took, as well as on Facebook, that it was strictly because I was filming.
I know, that's why I like you.
So I don't think filming in itself, under the Charter of Rights, and I think you would agree, can be construed as a disturbance.
So what did you want to chat about when you called? We didn't get
Yeah,
to
about the illegality and what to do going on. So I spoke to Wade Cleveland about that particular situation.
So which situation, sorry, bro?
About my trespass from Town Hall, Yarmouth Town Hall.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't provide any comment.
I completely understand. You're not up to date.
I'm happy to talk to you about like any provincial issues, though.
Yeah, and I think what happens with that is the reason I wanted to speak with you is because you're a Minister of Internal Affairs as well. Or that's what it's listed on your website, anyways. So I don't know if that was maybe in the past or.
Critic. So we're in opposition, so I don't hold.
Okay. So I guess when we talk about local governments and governmental bodies,
listen. Do you want to do it outside so we can avoid the tension here?
Oh, I don't find there's any sort of tension.
I know,
here.
but there is some. Do you want to? I'm willing to go chat with you.
I think this is fine. I think this is fine. I'm comfortable here. If you are, like,
I know. I just want other people to be comfortable. That's part
well,
of my
I don't
part of my
think
nature.
I understand, and I just don't understand how this conversation could make anybody uncomfortable.
I just think, that, like, to your point, whether it's legal or not, it can make some people who aren't used to this.
I understand.
You know what I mean? Like,
I get
I'm
it.
used to it.
I get it.
It's part of my job.
Yeah.
I'm a public figure. I certainly
You're on camera a lot.
embrace that part of the job, and I like opportunities to
Yeah,
also
and
communicate.
you've showed that to me many a time,
Yeah.
right? You've showed that to me, and it just seems like we need to get more people in government that are like you, that are willing to be transparent and accountable, that are willing to speak with people,
nice you say.
right?
Thank you.
I believe that
I
of
think
you.
it's important. Like, and I'm happy to talk about like what's happening provincially, because I think particularly under Houston's government, there's a real lack of accountability and transparency. And he ran to say he'd be the most transparent premier ever. And we've seen the privacy, the access to privacy, like from freedom of information situation get worse, harder to access.
Exactly.
Freedom of information. We've certainly seen him hide public information, like how many people don't have a family doctor, and that's become a political issue for him. And I certainly support having more authority given to the Privacy Commissioner. Giving that office order-making authority as well, because they don't have that now. All they can do is give recommendations, and increasing the resources in the Auditor General's department.
Yeah. And I guess that kind of leans into, like, when we talk to municipal governments and things like that, they need to know the laws and the provincial laws and regulations that allow certain people to do certain things, especially when it comes to privacy acts, because we talk about how that's become harder and harder for people to access. So when we have individuals that are going into town hall, and so my right to film is protected under 2B. Now there's other protections under that, like religion and other things like that.
Yeah, my focus is provincial, right? So I don't know the situation.
No,
in
I
town
guess
hall. I'm not gonna provide any-
no, for sure.
I'm not informed enough to provide.
No,
any
exactly. And I
commentary.
guess I'm just making statements, I guess, at this point, not necessarily looking like for a response or a statement back from you, because I understand it's not necessarily your scope. But what I'm thinking is, if we have individuals that are restricting access to town hall based off of feelings, right, that even makes it harder for access to information, because I was actually there to pick up a flash drive of a video that I requested to pick up voter information update forms so I could vote in the municipal election. And I was there to ask which town engineer was the one that signed off on the condemnation of the old tourist bureau. Because I'm just curious of who signed that off to be condemned. Because I had heard in the past that the only issues with that building are it needs a new roof, it needs air conditioning, it has a mold problem, and it has a rodent problem. So I'm just wondering what the cost over rebuilding a new one versus repairing would be, and which engineer was in charge of overseeing that. And trying to access this information while filming it to disseminate to my viewers, which I have quite a few viewers. I was trespassed.
How long have you been? So,
2.5 years.
Sorry,
2.5 years.
How many? What are you up to now?
So I have almost 4,500 subscribers.
That's pretty cool. Are they mostly local? Do you know? Or?
So some are local, some are provincials, and YouTube is kind of a hard thing like that, because
break it down?
Yeah. It's more or less like if they comment and we talk to them.
I don't do enough YouTube.
YouTube's a good platform. It's really good. It gets out there.
I primarily use like Facebook and Instagram.
And X things. Yeah, X is. It seems like the government is leaning a lot towards X to get matters out to the public. I'm not sure if that's because of Bill C-18 and Facebook like automatically restricting any type of news posts and things, where X has
I think that's a real
taken a
That's
stand.
a real issue right now.
Absolutely.
I think just
Been here 3 months at that point.
how people get their information. I think we've seen a real reduction in media capacity.
Even with this election, we've had. There's not a lot of people that know about it, right? It's hard to get information out, especially when most people have their phone in their hand 12 to 14 hours a day and are looking at Facebook.
One thing that's good, I think, about the municipal election structure is that it's consistent. Unlike the one that I kind of function in, where it could happen every 2 years. It could happen.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really up to the premier if there's a majority.
Yeah,
voting.
yeah.
So I think that helps with kind of public awareness of it. Also, I think the ability to vote electronically helps with access. But
I think so. I think so as well, and having different means to
Houston,
vote.
his first law was a fixed election date.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he keeps it.
Yeah, we'll see, right? And hopefully, because whichever side you land on, I hope that whoever the Canadian populace votes into power, that they make good on their promises, and that they do what Canadians need for them.
Yeah,
Right?
and I mean, my
Like-
focus is provincial, obviously, and I certainly will not be making any commitments in our platform that I don't think we can execute on.
Exactly, right? And like I hope
That's
to
why
see
I'm not
that
gonna promise the world.
because in the last while under the liberal administration, it seemed like we've had a lot of promises that have not necessarily come to fruition. And I understand that the government takes time. There's a lot of cogs and gears that need to be in motion, and it just
Which
seemed.
ones in particular?
So there was. It's
Like, I can think of one that I was disappointed in was the electoral reform.
the electoral reform.
Yeah, that was something I was excited about. As a liberal, as a citizen, that was one area where I was disappointed that the federal government didn't move on. But we have seen, I think, some serious action on tackling like child poverty.
And I think so. I think we just need to get completed, right? I think we need to get to a point where we can say we've done everything that we can, and then move on to a new approach, right? Because there's so many things in this government that are conservative or liberal based that are really powerful and impactful to local communities, and we just need to have the action and put them into practice, because there's a lot of people in the community that are suffering because of some of the policies and things that liberals have made in these terms that they've been into power, as well as conservative governments in the past.
And conservative governments provincially now.
Exactly. So it's not a one-sided sword, right? It's a two-sided sword. Right now, the liberal government is on the forward-facing side of the sword, right? So they're the one that receives more controversy or attack, right, or
But they've been
criticism.
there the longest too.
Exactly.
And the
So,
situation's pretty tough for people.
like as a Canadian, right, I live it, right, and we live in these times where we seem to lack accountability, we lack transparency, we have problems in government, we have problems when it comes to most forms of government, whether it's the RCMP or municipal governments, and when you try and be transparent and bring these matters to the public, you're usually faced with adversity or what's the word I'm looking for, the proper term, backlash, for just trying to exercise your rights. And I was in here for 2 minutes, and every single person in here was after me. Just because, and if I came in here without this and asked the exact same question, I would have been treated completely differently.
Yeah, and I understand both sides of that coin.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, I don't mind doing it. Don't mind speaking.
No, I know, and you never have. You never have.
Part of the deal. I sign up for it. Not everybody else does, and a lot of people do get uncomfortable with it.
And I understand that. And
Right.
I think people, especially in government, need to start being a little bit more comfortable with it, because in today's day and age, exactly. But you know what I mean? In today's day and age, we live in a world where cameras are super prevalent and everywhere. Like you can't even walk down the road without getting caught on 100 Ring cameras. You know what I mean? And nobody gave permission for those to be installed on the front door. Or when you walk in Walmart. I'm sure when we walked in this building, like I said, we were on camera. Just coming here, and nobody here gave permission to
But
those.
also not all of that, not all of those, that footage isn't necessarily being made public unless
No.
there's an investigation.
Exactly, but through the Freedom of Information Act and things like that, where
I'm not
I know. I'm just like I'm saying, for my viewers,
I'm a highly social
I know.
creature, so
I know.
I like social harmony, despite the fact I'm in a job that entails a bit of conflict.
Yeah, oh,
now and then.
for sure.
But are you good doing well personally?
Everything's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to get around and say hi to people.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to take any more of your time. Like, I'm just trying to stay out of the way. You know what I mean?
Have we covered what you called me about?
To a point. I think I'd like to speak maybe
There's not much I'm going to be able to do about it.
again. Okay.
Or, but if there's any provincial stuff, this is
Yeah. Okay. And I think we covered most of it anyways. So awesome. Zach, thank you very much.
Good. How's everything?
There's Zach Churchill. Nice little conversation with him. Now we got a few more people coming in. I think Pam's just getting ready to get her little speech going here. So hopefully we can get that. As you can see, there isn't too much happiness when it comes to trying to film local government and provide transparency. Pretty sure that's Julie right there. Julie Mood, her daughter. She would have been one of the previous owners of Genesis Interiors. So let's just take a quick look around here. Like I said, I've never been to Jacob's Lounge, so it's a nice place. Really nice place. Didn't even know this place was here. It's interesting. Let's take a peek over here. Yeah, charcuterie board. Oh, there's a little seating area. Very nice. Interesting. Helpful information. Oh man. We could have done a live stream. We have more people objecting to videotaping, even though they're literally on videotape every day of the week. Let's see what we have here. We have some pamphlets for Pam Mood. Now, apparently she was sending these out. So, let's see here. Kind of hard to film this here. Housing, infrastructure, mental health, people.
How are you? Excellent. I've seen you before, but I was in attendance. So.
Very interesting.
Hey! How are you? Nice to see you. How are you? Good.
What's up, dude?
Thanks for coming. My girl made all kinds of treats for you.
Oh, yeah.
The difference.
Yes,
You
So
see.
you're coming.
That's great, yeah. That's
can
nice.
be-
I think you are the photographer, I think, right?
Oh,
You can get us one photo.
she's not very happy with me, so I don't know if you asking me. I'll absolutely do it for you. I'll absolutely 100%.
It's not that I'm not happy with you. I'm fine. I'm going to ask you respectfully, if somebody doesn't want to be taped, don't.
Lots of challenges.
That's all I'm asking.
Well, I'm here
Whether
to
it's right or
I'm here to cover this, and I'm gonna film what I can film from my camera.
All right.
And I respect your opinion. I would ask as the mayor maybe to ask them to just calm down, and
I'm
it's
calm.
no to ask the other people that
No,
you've
people
slightly
are-
riled up a little bit. I would
No,
say.
I think people are not liking to be taped, and that's
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
Like I said, I'm just recording. I'm a local journalist, and she's not very happy with it. I would have been more than happy. I really don't understand.
You can video pen speech all you want, but it's the public spaces that.
Ma'am, I have the right to record the public. It's called single party consent. And I understand where you're coming from, but I would implore you to do a little bit of research about Canada's single party consent and recording in public, because I'll just inform you, when you're walking down the street and there's security cameras and whatnot that record you, you didn't give them permission either. And if I have a Ring camera on my front door and you happen to walk by and I record you, well, You didn't give me permission for that either. When you walk into Walmart, you're being recorded. When you walked into this building, actually, you were recorded by their private security. And since this was rented by a public event, I could request that video. So I would just implore you to look into that, because it seems like an opinion that could get you in trouble in the future.
There's a gray house on the northeast corner. Well, we redid it. Now they're telling us it's the best house in the street. But I can't have you commit. Well, you can commit. The inside, we're working on the inside right now. But
I got Zach over there meeting with some local constituents. Actually, I'm not sure if they're constituents or if they work for the town or what, but he's doing his social event over here, so that's great to see. And Zach's always been very nice to me, very cordial. Always been very open to talk and communicate, whether that be over the phone, in person, or other means of media. He's very approachable, and I appreciate him for that. That's one thing I will say about Zach, is that he's very transparent and approachable, and if you give him a call, he will do his best to get back to you.
Yeah, did you qualify for the...
Hello, how are you? Good. Where's Riley? There she is. Hello, sir. How are you? Good. How you doing?
And actually, we've seen a little bit of difference, because I left the mayor here a message on her voicemail to try and do a little bit of an interview, a questionnaire with her about a week and a half ago, maybe, and never received any call back or even a response. So it just shows who's more transparent, more open to speaking with members of the public who may not necessarily agree 100% with their opinions. And that's not a government that I believe that we need to have. A government that isn't ran on being able to ask questions and exercise your rights. That's not a democratic society that I want to live into, and that doesn't sound like a democracy to me. Now, hopefully we can see Pam start her little speech here soon. I feel like she's gone past the 2:30 time frame. Maybe she's just waiting for, we're 2:45 now. Maybe she's just waiting for a few more people to come in. People coming out of the kitchen here, it's like. Lots of snacks and refreshments. Looks delicious. Some fresh fruit and vegetables. Hey there. Thank you.
sorry. It took 2 years to overcome the growth.
Hey, let's go get over something like that. He still gets up at 6 in the morning.
This is a great place to
Oh, we just seen it. We just seen it. Well, someone was on the inside. They don't look like
It was probably in before.
But I think when I first started, there was 5 units there.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
It's literally the community is really turning around. And they explained all this stuff.
Looks like things are starting to settle down. People are looking like they're taking seats here. So hopefully we can get this address underway and we can see what Pam has to say about her campaign this year. As of right now, there hasn't been a whole lot of information. A couple pamphlets that got sent out to mailboxes and whatnot. But it's interesting to see what her campaign platform may be for this year in more depth than just what's listed on the pamphlets. So.
Well, we got a couple almost directly across from us. They just came from 2 rows. They just invested $40,000 in the house. The lady got the other side across the way. She's just putting another $10,000.
It seems like the turnout here, mostly her employees and family and friends, and we've got a few constituents that decided to come out here and just do a little meet and greet, which I think is great, even if you don't support Pam or members of the town council. I think it's still a good idea to come out and do these meeting and greetings, even if you get a little bit of a negative response from the individuals when you come, like I did today. So, but that's not going to deter me from staying and filming and exercising my charter right to film here and disseminate this information to my viewers. Because I think you guys will really appreciate this type of video. It might be a little bit long-winded. We have a little conversation with Zach Churchill. We have Pam being Pam, and then we're gonna have her little speech here, and we're gonna see what her platform is, and then we'll be able to have some more meaningful discussion on that, because a lot of this stuff isn't publicized. Like I stated to Pam, their own YouTube channel is pretty lacking, and I think having more views and more eyes on the town and what's going on in the Yarmouth can only be a good thing. We're a tourist town. We try to invite people here, so we need to have nice, welcoming individuals in our town. And when tourists come to town, a lot of them, they like to film and they like to gather information to show to their friends and their family when they get back home from their vacations. So I think simply having a camera is pretty common in a tourist town. So I don't think it should be any sort of worry or concern that I'm filming, considering that they film themselves.
But we did. That was a glare. I know it's not
It's funny that Julie remembers me. Hey Randy, what's going, man? I love Randy. Randy works at the NSCC. He's a custodian there. Super awesome guy. I'm pretty sure he's custodian or maintenance, or he wears a red shirt.
Then they have a beautiful flower.
Okay, now I know.
That's how we have nice.
Drop by anytime. We only have one way to go to residence. All right, to the door.
Can I get you in water, tea,
Take care.
coffee? Hey, sir.
Randy, what's going on, buddy? Thanks so much. Randy, what's going on, brother? Nice to see you, man. Happy with the win last night or what? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See, Randy's the man, and everybody knows Randy's the man. Love that guy.
Me too, man. I got a big family suffering on my family.
Organized chaos.
No, thank you. I'm
Pretty blue eyes. don't know what juice there is, honey. I know. Okay, we'll go look, okay? We've got napkins, too. We've got them here yet. Oh, that's the best, Randy. Thought you were gonna bring it over with you. It is. No problem. I'll forgive you. Yeah, well, it was on the campaign trail yesterday. Or something. That's right. She had the best time yesterday. The best. She was awesome. That's right. What can I get you? Let me pick you.
No, good thanks.
I can pick you up. Did I say?
Yes.
I'll just do a piece of cheese, thank you.
Cheese?
I like cheese, yeah.
I think she said she's going to start here soon. So 20-25 minutes late, but better late than never.
Do you want pickles?
No thanks.
Crackers?
Not right now.
No, I'll give you one. Grapes?
I like grapes, yeah.
Oh, you like chocolate? Cookies with chocolate on it?
No, good. Yeah, that's good.
Here you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Enjoy your thank you.
I know, thank you. Fixing Randy a plate? Yeah. Yeah, she's in great primary now.
Said 2 minutes, so
Y'all stay for a while, yeah.
the long wait is over.
Speak in a bit. 2 minutes. Just wait, let everybody settle down.
Oh, this woman over here in the leopard print, she's so upset about filming, it's ridiculous.
And there were only boys up in school.
And I was sitting there going like, this is great, right? I gotta wait for my sister.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. The little ones were sort of in tears.
Can you imagine going to school with a bunch of Alexes? Just all Alexes. That's it. Only boys up in school. That's a lot of boys. The only boys that go to your school?
So it looks like we're at the meat and potatoes here, boys and girls. Wonder if she's gonna say anything. Just in time.
Is this on? Is this on? I don't think I need a microphone. I just want to
20
say
people here
thank
that
you,
aren't
first of all,
paid
to
like you.
everyone that came and took your Sunday afternoon, and actually some friends that took their Sunday morning to put some food together for you folks and some treats. So I'm just glad that you could all join us. So what I wanted to do is I want to introduce myself because everybody doesn't know everything about me. You're not going to get everything about me today, that's for sure. But I'm Pam Mood. I'm your mayor. I've been your mayor for 12 years, and I bumped into somebody the other day, and he said, "Are you a mayor for life?" And I said, "No, just one more term," and he didn't know what to say, and I said, "Well, have you ever had a job for more than 12 years? Well, yes. I said, "I know, you're just getting good at it now." So you have to keep going. You have to keep going. So we're gonna share this afternoon because I just wanted to
I think you should
show
be already
you what where
at the
we've
point where
been.
you're
And some of you
able to be a
recognize
mayor
some of
when
this.
you
Some
even
folks
run
are
for
new.
mayor.
We've got people that have been here for less than a year, for just a year, for 50 years, for 63 years. So, we're covering the gamut here. So some of you may know some of what I'm going to share, and some of you may not. So it's all new, and I always say hit the reset button. Sometimes things are just a reminder of where we are and what we're doing.
I wonder
So I was
that
born and
person
raised here. I was an
gave that
Eman,
person
so
permission
if
to take a
anybody's
picture of them.
ever eaten beef jerky, I can guarantee I know where you got it, down at Fred's.
I dropped something, sorry guys.
The store's no longer there because all of the Freds are gone, sadly, and I miss them terribly. So yeah, so that's me. And when I was 11 years old, when I was young, from the time I was 3 till I was 13, my grandfather was the mayor. And some of you have heard this story before, but I used to follow him everywhere. And I used to have to wear the shiny white shoes and the little skirts with the crinolines, and I'd come home and I'd be itching like crazy because they were the most uncomfortable things. But I watched him, and I remember in particular in the store that people would come in and they would be so upset with him, and they'd come in and yelling and screaming and carrying on about whatever the issue was for the day, and he would take two Pepsi, remember those wooden pop crates? Some of you remember, some of you don't. And he'd flip them on their side, and he'd say, "Sit down in my office and let's have a chat."
Now
And
they
they
just
would
trespass,
walk
yeah.
out, shaking hands, and they were friends. And I couldn't, at that young age, I couldn't articulate what it was, but
You still
something
can't,
in me
Ben.
said, I want to be that person.
You're
He
not,
didn't
though.
take any guff from anybody. I think I inherited that too. I'm pretty honest, so sometimes people take that as rude or something else, but it's not. It's just, I can't lie, and I just say it the way it is or the way I'm feeling it. And I never mean any disrespect, but I can't tell you what you want to hear for any reason. I just have to say what's on my heart. So before I get started, Zach's here.
He gets more of a clap than she does.
Not party stuff. We're not doing party stuff today, but Zach got elected, I want to say a year before I did. I went to that when you got put into government. I went to that, and we've been pretty much hip to hip for 12 years. And we share with each other, we celebrate each other, we work friggin' hard together to make this community better.
We're good therapists for each other.
We're good therapists for each other. You can't be in politics and not need a therapist. My girls are here, and one of my granddaughters. If you're on my team, you can put your hand up because I got some people that did, so look, they're shy. Okay, never mind that. Counselor Heather's here, who's your counselor for about another week or two. So she's done an amazing job. It's been amazing to have you there at the table, not afraid to make hard decisions. And Neil McKenzie, most of you know Neil McKenzie. He was on council. Neil's running for office too for council, and Neil's has done for years all our tourism. So when you see some action happening, he's behind it. So thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
Also
So we
in
said, let's
action.
chat. I'm gonna go. I said, you know what? I'll just put some photos up because sometimes I don't know if you're like me, but after a couple minutes of someone talking, I'm gonna fade away unless there's a picture to watch. So that's what we'll do. We're just gonna go through relatively quickly where we've been and where we're going. And I think it's a reminder because sometimes you see sometimes, you know, you hear people say things like, you know, nothing ever gets done, or what has that person ever done for the town, or all those things. And you know, it's hard when you work, you know, from 6 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night, but you do it because you love what you do. So we'll have questions after. So where we were basically, now I just want to tell you, that's the Yarmouth Ferry Terminal. And years ago, and that's the way it was, because we used to have 2 or 3 ferries at a time. It was swamped, it was full, and all those people were wandering through town. You know, some living here, some visiting, but they're spending money. They're having, Neil's over there drooling, saying, "Can we have that again for tourism?" Right? I think Neil can make it happen. Okay, and then, so we were really, really busy. And I remember Mom had six of us kids, and she used to walk us through the downtown. We called it uptown because we're from South End. So she would say, "You're going uptown, but you better hang on to that stroller." She'd have 2 babies in it and 2 kids on each side, because it was that busy that she said you'll get lost. And we don't see that today. So, you know, we don't, not yet. So then in, I want to say 2000, well, it says there, 2007 to 2009, we had what we would call a recession. The U.S. housing bubble thing kind of happened, and then, you know, the recession, it just comes out of, I got a real estate person in here who's going, yep, we know how real estate affects the economy. So the global financial crisis happened. On top of the global financial crisis right here, there was a downturn in the fishery. Whether it was related or not, I don't remember, I just don't remember. And we lost our ferry, because a government with 3 letters starting with N, N, E, and P, and the middle letter was a D, took the ferry away. And the ferry, like, if people don't understand, there's the fishery and there's tourism. And without those tens of thousands of people, we forget that they're in restaurants and they're buying gas and they're doing events, and people have jobs because of this. And then the ferry goes and the bottom drops out of it. I don't know how else to explain it, but we were in a downward spiral, the likes that I don't think we'd ever seen anything like that before. People were going west for jobs because there were no jobs, because when you don't have people to shop in your stores and all those other pieces that go along with it, when you don't have that, you don't have anything. There's no jobs. So people were moving west, which means businesses were closing, people were selling their homes. It was just, whole families were going. Sometimes just the dad would go and send the money back, and there was money to be made in Western Canada. But I remember driving down Main Street, and I pulled over, I pulled over in front of one of the banks, and I looked down the street, and I felt sick to my stomach. Because this wasn't the Yarmouth that any of us had known, ever. We just hadn't known that, and it was sad. And the people that are here that stayed and weathered the storm kept us through it, but they fought tooth and nail to make sure they did that. I couldn't, I'm just going to say it the way it is, I couldn't watch it anymore. And at the time, Phil Mooney was mayor, and I've said this publicly a number of times. Phil got us through those worst 4 years. He just, see, I got goosebumps on my goosebumps. He got us through the toughest times. I went in and I talked with him, and I said I can put my name on the docket for mayor, and I can, so I'm, just so you all know this, what I did before, I spent 18 years with the RCMP, and I left, and then I did professional speaking. So I'm a leadership expert, so I've taught leadership all over North America.
She's not
so
a leadership expert.
I know how to lead. Doesn't mean I know
She worked as a secretary, civilian employee for the RCMP, and then did motivational speaking after on her own accreditation. So that's just pulling her own chain right there.
And Phil and I have always had a great relationship, and we said, well, let's just do this together. So that's pretty much what happened there, the old Great Recession. I remember the ferry was coming back. That was the first big thing. Zach was like a dog with a bone, like just we had got to get that ferry back and fought tooth and nail. We all got together and did the fight for the community and actually the whole region and the whole province, really, because everybody's affected by it. And when they said they were bringing the ferry back, boy, there were a lot of tears. But I said, what do I do? How do I take that and put it into the community and help the community understand the power the community has to make a difference for when this ferry comes back? Does that make sense to you? Okay? So the only way I can explain it is we were so down in the dumps and everything was so negative, like the attitudes were negative, and it's because of fear. People were afraid, people were just, what are we going to do? And I thought, oh my gosh, if the ferry comes in with loads of people and they see the town looking like this, they're going to drive right through. That's all I could think. So
Meanwhile, the
you guys
first two
remember
buildings
this.
you see
I called
when
the
you
all
pull
hands
into
on
your
deck
Yarmouth
meeting.
is an
I
abandoned
remember
hotel
somebody at my
and an
table, so I said,
abandoned
how
visitor
many,
information
Bluetooth
center that they
said,
plan on
how
tearing
many
down.
people, how many chairs should I set up? And somebody said, you should set up 30 chairs. I'm sure there's 30 people in this town that are going to be interested in, helping us go forward. And I said, okay, set up 400. Let's just add a zero. And 600 people came. 600 people came to the Mariner Center because I asked the question, what can you as an individual, as a business, or an organization do to turn this community around, to get us ready for the boat, to flip everything upside down and we can start going forward, because we were just, it was really bad. And I completely got it. Everybody's hearts were kind of, broken because of what everyone had been through. So those folks sat there. I think we had 50 tables of 10 people each, and then we had people out in the back. And we just asked the question, what can you do? Like, how can you help each other? And they put everything on the table. And we implemented all 50 ideas, all 50. There were people that would plant flowers. There were people that would paint buildings. I remember I went to church that next Sunday, a week later, and there were a group of Sea Cadets scraping gum off the sidewalk. That's how committed people were. They said, well, we've got people coming. We just, like, everything.
She says
People
there's not
were
enough
doing,
volunteers,
customer
they just don't
service
ask.
events, like how do we do customers better? How do we, the stuff, I just couldn't believe what people were putting on the table. Not our ideas. It was the community saying, this is what we can do. And you can't do it without the community, but the community has to be on board. Through everything, we started to see things turn around. And I'm going to say this because I've heard it 10,000 times, because I've spoken on this throughout Canada, because when we did that, it just, people couldn't believe it. Municipalities couldn't believe we had actually done that. And what I heard the most from people here is, what the one thing that changed the most, that made the biggest difference? It was attitude. Everyone's attitude kind of flipped from fear and I can't do anything to what someone else is going to do for me to I have the power now to make a difference. It completely changed everything. I understand what's going on in this community because I not only live here, but I spend a lot of time on the phone, a lot of time in people's houses. I can say it here, but I don't say it publicly. The stuff you do to help other people, you don't go out there and scream at people, look what I did. You just do it because it's the right thing to do. If you could just a listening ear or a meal or whatever it is. So I think that's some of the stuff people ask, does she do that? I do it, but I guess my book says do it quietly. So anyway, can't even remember where it was because I'm 63, but that's okay. So we did that, and then it's because of that resilience, and it's not, we're a fishing community, really. So resilience is really important. You have to be able to bounce back. If you have a bad fishing season, what happens? Like, not only are the fishers and their families saying, please, let's have a good season. There's not a person in in this region that isn't praying really hard for a good season because they know how strongly the fishery impacts us. No different from tourism. So everybody's together. So we've learned how to bounce back because we've had bad seasons, we've had good seasons. So we're resilient, and we had to do it again, which is, we're getting really good at that. So I'm gonna go really quickly through these, because what we've accomplished,
been going through that have affected
some of the stuff's
our
still on the
lobster
go,
industry,
sometimes we forget,
and the provincial
but
and municipal
I'm not
governments
a
have
fan
done
of looking
absolutely
back,
nothing about
except
it.
to see how far we've come. Is anybody with me on that one? Now you can watch the screen, and I'm gonna look here because I keep turning my head. We rebranded, and some people laugh at it, Yarmouth on the edge of everywhere, but we are. You can't, it's just, we're on the edge and people say you're at the end of the world. No, we're not, we're at the beginning of it all. That's where we are, we're at the beginning of it all. But all the planes, trains, and automobiles, like you have to
Planes
start
that
somewhere.
don't
So
come
we
here,
rebranded
trains that no
ourselves.
longer come here, and automobiles
We've
that only
done
leave
little,
here.
these are all mixed up because they're not in any order, so don't be looking for, oh, that flows, because it's not gonna flow, people. It's just not gonna flow. The town hall one, there's nothing better for my soul than when groups of kids come to town hall for whatever reason. I think this one was Black History Month, and they love to get their picture taken, and they love to be able to pull up the string on the flag. We've done teas in the Frost Park for the Lieutenant Governor a couple times. And I'll tell you why, because people would say,
It's pronounced lieutenant.
how you qualify everything, right? You say, what's she doing having a tea party? You know what? Very few people get to shake hands and have a chat with the Lieutenant Governor.
It's lieutenant.
And he and his wife, Patsy, they love people. So let's invite them here and let people see them. He's a representative of was the Queen, now it's the King. So that's important to a lot of people. So we fit that. The line up there is right out of the park usually. So people get to meet. It's not about me having a tea party, it's about me helping other people meet people that they wouldn't otherwise.
I don't even want to start talking about that damn tea
Heather
party.
does, Councillor Heather does Communities in Bloom, and they just, it's not about pretty, it's about, for me, it's about mental health and trying to make sure that our community feels good. And when it looks good, you feel better. So we've done things like that. I have a list of favorites. This was one of my favorites. The second, the Black Battalion. And we put that up in front of the library to celebrate this battalion of their Nova Scotia Black communities that were in the war, and they had to actually fight to be part of it. Like, that's just, so it's a beautiful, beautiful story on that one. We did that. We've got the emergency management that used to be our own, and now we've done it because it's a regional thing. We've put those together for people. We did set up things like a warming center when we've had storms. We've done the lights in Frost Park. These, people don't think it's a big deal, but when someone comes to town, they're looking for a place to be. They see something like this, and
When someone comes to town, they're looking for a place to live. They can go cuddle up with the lights in Frost Park.
Wife there, and they've got baby number 2 on the way, so I'm glad they said yes. I wish they lived here, at my population, but no.
Well, if they had a house to move to here, they might actually move.
Unbelievable. And somebody actually said last night, why do you waste money on those big sidewalks? And I'll tell you exactly why, because I get excited about answering these. You're not going to get a stroller and a bike or some of the machines that people use to get around these days on just a narrow sidewalk. You're not. And active transportation is so important. We want people to get out of your house, go for a walk, meet some people. And I can tell you this, when we're up talking to the people, especially like in Ocean Breeze up by the Wesleyan Church, what they said most of all was, thank you for that trail, because I've met more people in my community because we're out for a walk. And so people are making friends, they're getting exercise, and again, I go right back to mental health. And it really, really matters. Like, just what can we do? And the other thing is, we want to be able to connect one end of town with the other. And some would say, oh, that 25-minute city thing. I'm like, hey, you know what, I don't even know what it is, but if I can get.
If you look at the
or
trails,
15
they all
minute
like
city,
start
whatever the number
nowhere
is.
and end
If I can
nowhere.
get from one end
They
of
don't
Yarmouth to
connect
the other in
anything
15
really.
minutes, I don't care
There's
what
places
you call
where
it,
you
I'll
have to
be
walk
happy.
and
Right,
have
so hop on your bike,
no sidewalks or
you know,
anything. You have to
whatever
walk
you
from
wanna
one
do.
end of a
That's
trail to the
positive
next.
thing. So that
Start.
folks are now going to the mall
So it
without
doesn't
having
really
to go all
connect
around,
much.
just cutting through the Mont Lewis Trail and things like that.
And
So it's
that
all
trail, the
positive,
trail
there's
that's
more
covered in
coming. We
graffiti
just
and
hope that
glass and
Start
human
road.
feces.
I'm happy. So what do you do when something happened to the YMCA? And town council sat down and said, in a nutshell, we need to buy it because we're going to do the Mariner Center, which is close, I'd say $40 million, Heather. Like it's a huge project. The community asked for that. That wasn't us saying, let's do it. It was the community that wanted it, and we needed a new pool, walking track, all those pieces that come with it. Again, you know, physical, mental health, all those pieces, things for people to do.
Except only people that can afford to
the
use those
town,
facilities can access them.
The town bought the YMCA, and we made sure that everybody in there was looked after. We wanted to make sure there was that I don't know how to say this, that we pay enough to make sure that everything's looked after. So the folks that ran that place for 182 years, it's the second oldest in Canada, didn't have a worry in the world. Because that
I'm
was
sure
important to us.
Renee
They
and
did
Debbie and the
such a
other
job.
workers
It just didn't work with
didn't
the
get
model
what she's
that they
talking
had,
about.
but they worked their butts off. So we took that and we call it the bridge. It's the bridge to the new Mariner Center. So we run whatever we can there until we get the new Mariner Center up and running. So yeah, so we're happy about that. And then the one
That's
on the
her
right, I
admitting
put
that
that in this
they're
one because
going to close
everybody
that
knows
building
Jim
down
McLeod.
when they
We
build a
lost
new
Jim.
one, which is with the
Probably
glass
one of the best
pedway is
people
going
this
to connect
town
to the
will ever
Mariner
see.
Center on
And
Stars
he
Road and
gave
Jody
and
Shelley.
gave and
So
gave.
they're talking
And he
about
sat on
$40 million
council too, and
building.
he
Well, they bought
he
it
supported the
to
Y
not
and-
use it in a
and
couple
Mariner
years and build a
Center
new
so
one.
much that
And we still pay
anyway,
for
we
it.
named Jim McLeod Square.
And pay to
We changed
use it
from Alma Square
as
to Jim
constituents
McLeod
that
Square. Everybody loves the bump outs, come on.
Yeah, right. That's the biggest joke I've ever heard in my life.
So, it's my fault. I'm just joking, it's not my fault. In 2009,
It is your fault,
that's
Pam.
4 years before me, they did a downtown blueprint plan. And it takes years to make everything happen because it's money
You
and
could
it's
just end
funding and you want to partner and stuff like that. And so, how do you turn your main street into a place people want to be? So we started
by
with
doing that.
benches and greenery and things like that. And I'm going to tell you this because this is stuff that makes me cry and I'm supposed to be tough. So don't make me cry. But I have seniors coming into town hall. And I see a lot of people every day, all day. But when a senior finds their way into town hall to talk to the mayor, to tell me, and I had 4 of these inside of a week, the same thing, which was, Mayor, basically the same story. I used to get a taxi, go down, drop my prescription off, sit there and get a taxi back home. Now I can go downtown because you've got benches there, I can stop, I can rest, and I even have coffee in one of those fancy new coffee shops with my friends. That does my heart good because this community is for everyone.
She only cares about
And
the seniors
these
in
folks
this
are
town.
fine. There's nothing worse than being trapped in your house. I don't care what, there's nothing worse. So what can we do? So we did the benches and stuff. This part is, in case anyone doesn't know, it's a lobster car cut into 6 pieces and put throughout the town. So the bump out part, now let me say this loud and clear. We did not lose any parking spaces. What we did, you know how you see those lines on the corners? You can't park there. So instead of having lines and wasted space, we use that space to add benches, see, flowers, benches, those types of things. So you didn't lose any parking.
That's not true.
Unless you're on social media, and then you probably did. Sorry, let's just call it for what it is. I know people get upset, but you gotta laugh. So anyway, we did that. So there's safety pieces, and nobody believes this, but I had to have the engineer explain this, and I know it's hard to come around them, but you know what? You have to go really slow to do it, don't you? Yeah. Exactly. And people hate them. I know people hate them. The other thing is, because it's bumped out on both sides, there's a shorter distance between crossing the street, which is less dangerous, less space, so it's less dangerous, and you can be seen. Before you step off the curb, you can be seen. Now, I'm the first one to say, I've driven over those things more times than I can count. And you know what I say to myself? You're gonna have to go renew your license if you can't make a corner, okay? I know people don't like them, but they're there for a reason. The other piece is the shelter. You know, just be able to stop and have some shade.
They
and
don't
stuff like
actually
that.
provide any shelter.
I'm sorry y'all hate them, but. So,
Not everybody doesn't like those. Yeah.
no, I love them, but, you know, they aggravate me because I know I have to go slow and I don't like going slow, but, you know, I have more people say nice things about them than not, so I'm just teasing you folks. We put up the Sarah Corning. I think everyone knows Sarah Corning. She saved a lot of children in the war. We did the upstairs in the fire hall, and a complete redo because they needed it. I mean, y'all know
Didn't need a
how old I
redo. It was
am,
originally
and
built in a way
it
that it
hadn't
didn't
been
meet
redone
fire
since I
codes.
used to hang out there on
So
Friday
it's not
nights
that it
for the dances.
needed a redo.
So they
It was
did
just never
that,
properly constructed in the
redid,
first
the
place.
washrooms, everything. So they do weddings there, everything. But the town put the money into that. I think you know the value of the facade program. I'll show you a couple of pictures.
The
so that
facade
they can read them
program
all, but
basically
that's what it
tells
looked like. That's
businesses
what
in
it
the
looks like now.
downtown
Here's
area
fields.
what color they
That's
have
what
to
it looked
paint
like up
their
top.
businesses.
Now, this is my favorite. This one to this one. Yay! So I want to. I know I'm qualifying everything, but I want folks to understand the why. When I first got elected, I walked into my CAO's office. He just laughs at me now, sometimes. And anyway, and I walked in and I went, why in the heck would we do A, B, and C? And he looked at me and goes, exactly, Mayor, why? So I've learned to ask every time I get upset at something, instead of getting upset, I say, why would they do that? Because I can tell you,
So our own
the
principle.
mayor and council
If you
don't
get
wake
upset
up in
about
the
something,
morning
you
and go,
ask,
"How
but
can we upset some
apparently I
people?"
can't come and ask without
We don't
pissing
do
people
it
off.
because we live here too. So if it upsets you, it's gonna upset us, right? So we try to make the best decisions, but folks don't understand why, which kind of throws everything off. So the facade program, we need to understand the value of small business. And seriously, are you going to open a small business between two places that look like they should be torn down?
Nope.
You're not. You're gonna go to the next town. So if we can invest a little bit of paint and flowers and color, then we've done a good job. And you can see, I mean, our Main Street's not completely full right now, but look at SIP happened, Heritage happened, Charlene's Kitchen happened, the Chinese restaurant. I always look there and, oh my gosh, it's so colorful. These 3 buildings happened. People would have kept saying,
The
they
Chinese
should be
food
torn
restaurant
down.
always had that
Richard Long
color
did
scheme.
that. And he did the one across the street, and he did the mural.
That was like it was like
just-
Lotus Garden. It's been
Because,
that
we'll
color.
give you a little bit of money, but the owners are investing this much. And then, we said to Zach, gotta torment you. We said to Zach, here's the thing, because we can't control everything. I wish I could, because it would be easier to answer questions, like I could control that, but I can't. So if you have a business and it's worth $100,000, and then you fix it up and it's worth $200,000, now you gotta pay taxes on $200,000. What a drag. Like, how do you do that? Double your taxes. So Zach's government did the tax, I call it tax laddering. So you can take 10 years. So the first year you would pay 10%. Tell me if I'm wrong on this, but I know I write the checks and bring them to them and I love it. The second year you have to pay 20%. The third
Penn
year,
loves
the fourth
paying
year.
our
So
tax dollars to the
until
government.
in 10 years, you're paying 100% of your taxes, okay? Because you would destroy every business if we did that. So they agreed to that. It's probably one of the most amazing programs when they have to pay all their taxes and then they get a check back. When I can sign that check and deliver it to a business, And I remember one of the businesses said, you know what, we wanted to invest in A, B, and C, and now we can do that. So they hello, come on in.
It's okay.
So they invested, and so it turns things around. So when we paint things and we give money to making the town look beautiful, it's not because the mayor wants it to look pretty, although I do. It's because we're trying to draw business. Does that make sense? Okay? Because you don't just spend money on paint. You spend money on drawing more businesses in. So that's what we did. We bought 2 buses, 2 brand new buses, because you didn't want to ride on that old bus, you'd be hurt by the end of the ride. So we got 2 new buses. You know,
It wasn't the bus, it's the
at least
roads.
1,500 people, Heather, 1,500 a month, roundabout, are using that bus. So we got a backup now. That was a big deal, people getting out of their homes. It took us 10 years to get this through government, because this is one of the things that is provincially mandated, okay? I can't just say, let's have ATVs on Water Street. If I could, I would have snapped my fingers and let it happen. But the province has rules that you have to follow. They know I get upset at following the rules, but oh well, I'm pretty vocal. But it took 10 years, but now we
Charter's
have
the
that.
supreme rule,
And it's
and they
not
don't
about
like to follow
letting an
that.
ATV across Water Street. It's about letting 500 of them come when they do their trip around the province, and spending money in this town, and staying in the hotels, and coming to the events, and all those
That's all she
pieces.
cares
It's
about is the
making money,
tourist
and
population.
it's allowing us to do more for the community. We did the World Juniors. I think we're the smallest community, were we? One of the smallest communities to ever do it. I bet you Randy worked at that. Didn't you, Randy?
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's right. You're gonna find Randy at the rink working at all the hockey stuff. But we did it twice. And we did it twice because the community did it so well that they came back. I'm like, oh my goodness. Now I thought they came back because of me, because I had a row, remember this?
She believed.
Charmaine? We had a row of, I had just dropped the puck at a game, and we had a row of young looking guys in about 30s and 40s sitting in front talking about lobster. We love to talk about lobster. So anyway, one of the guys turned around and he said, excuse me, ma'am, are you the girl that dropped the puck? I said, girl. Hello, yes I am. Anyway, he said, where can we get lobster? And I was just about to mention a restaurant. I said, if you can be ready at noon tomorrow, we'll get you some lobster. So we picked them up, brought them to Stanley's, made them pick out their own lobster. A bunch of grown men, looked like a bunch of babies, scared to death. It was hilarious. Brought them back to my place, and we had one of those outdoor, cookers. They were all scouts for like the Pittsburgh Penguins and Canadians and all the hockey teams. They were all the scouts. And and I remember, I'm a Montreal fan, I'm proud of it. Anyway, I remember the Montreal guy, he said, how do you do this? And I said, well, you just crack it. And he took this, well, I had lobster guts on my ceiling, my wall, my fridge. I never laughed so hard in all my life. Never laughed so hard. The next time they came back, I was going into Rutter's, and I saw a guy with the Winnipeg Jets jacket on. And I said, oh, you must be here for the hockey. And he said, I'm here for a couple things. I'm here for the hockey, but I'm looking for the lobster queen. I said, what? He said, yeah, they couldn't stop talking about they went somewhere and someone cooked them lobster. I said, probably that wild mayor or something. She's just weird. She'd do something like that. Anyway, so we cooked up another batch of lobster. But it's funny what they remember. They remember hospitality. Nobody does it better than Yarmouth, right, Neil? We do hospitality better than anybody because we just love people. We love people. The events, are you too shy to say some events? Yeah, Neil? Yeah.
Don't get me talking.
You tell us what we've had. Curling.
World Junior Raid twice, two national curling events, international media event, 55 games, and Communities in Bloom National Music Week 3 times, and then also last year, 2023 was last year.
See,
So,
that's just a few.
yeah. And then we're in lots of regional events, of course, smaller ones that
Yeah.
we do as well.
Yeah, so we're always doing events, and we love people and we're great at it, so people keep coming back. I just love it. This one's one of my favorites. Every year, the big baby mayor stands at the top of the hill and takes a picture. I say the hill, but Yarmouth is pretty flat, but there's a hill there. And I take a picture of the car show. And I remember the three guys walking into it, two guys it was then, Denton Ford was one of them. You know, some of you know Denton. And he walked in and I said, why are you doing the car show at the Mariner Center? Because people go to the Mariner Center, they look at the cars and they go home. Because I'm all about people gathering and seeing each other and all that stuff. And he goes, well, we're not allowed to put it on Main Street. Yeah. Yes, you are. So we closed down Main Street and the car show, as you know it, happens this way now. Now, I don't know how y'all feel about it. I'm sure you absolutely love it. It's one of the best things that's ever happened to us. I remember somebody was trying to find me that first day saying, the mayor shut down Main Street and the businesses aren't going to get any business for 2 days. You know, the businesses couldn't keep up. The lineups out the door, they ran out of food, they ran out of staff, everything. So we're just trying to make things vibrant and fun. I think you know about Jumpstart if you've gone by the Mariner Center. The Jumpstart piece is it's going to be ready very, very soon. We also took the medical clinics and gave them back where they belong to Nova Scotia Health because it was costing the town and the other partners too much money. We're not the experts in healthcare, so we shouldn't be doing this.
Why did you even bother in the first place?
I'm going to say a huge thank you to Belle Hatfield and Heather because they took that on like nobody's business and just pushed with that committee. So that's done. We're debt free. Debt free. So we're doing all these things, and the strong fiscal management is just key. And I'm going to tell you what debt free means. It means now we don't know anything, but now we have room to do something if we need to. Okay? So nobody needs to say they just spent some money. That's what it's there for, right? Now we got room. It's like an overdraft. Pay it off and then go spend it again on the things that matter to the community if you need to. I'm almost done. We did bike lanes to get started. We built this, and there was no controversy, and I'm glad. When we have droughts, my son's an environmentalist that teaches at a university out west. He needs to get his sorry self home because Mama misses him. But water and drought stuff. So how do you handle that? Because if you're in town, you're on a water system. If you're out of town, you're on a well, and your wells are going dry. But it's up to your municipality to provide a way to get water. But we couldn't watch that anymore. Like we just finally had to build something. We'll never make our money out of that. You know, people say, well, you know, the mayor just wanted, the mayor just wanted money in her pockets. No, we'll never pay for that with the money that we make. But we have to charge for water. It doesn't matter if it's a drought because every penny, every drop that comes through the tap has to be accounted for by the Utility Review Board, not us, the Utility Review Board, and if somebody isn't paying for it, the taxpayers do. And you're not going to find me sitting here saying the town of Yarmouth taxpayers are going to pay for water for somebody. That's not fair. So it's a very tiny amount that we charge, but we're thankful to be able to do that because it takes a lot of pressure off people when it's working. We did this, which was one of my favorites too. We did the Lost at the Sea Memorial. There's always people down there, and we have to remember our roots, and it's really right from the heart. And when you see a family member, go down there and see their family member's name. It's just important. I went to Jordan, and let me tell you why I did. I think most of you know that. Didn't show you any of the other stuff there, but that was the picture
right
of
from the horse's
when we
mouth
went
here.
to the university. So if we want if we want housing, we have to have people to build it. And I know I have at least one carpenter in the room, and I'm sure that person understands that he would love to have more help, more carpenters around so that you can just, like, can we get this done? Because there's not enough trades to get the jobs done. There's just not. Nurses, nursing assistants, pharmacists. So when I go to the pharmacy, you know, the mayor, how do we find pharmacists? We can't cover the shifts. Restaurants are closing because they can't find people. So we went over there because somebody with the province had a deal with that country, because it's the only really safe country there. And if I don't go, the people will still come. The trades will come, the nurses will come, all those folks will come, but they will not come to Yarmouth. They're gonna go with whoever's representing. So to say I felt blessed and thankful and everything else, that they asked me, because they could pick any mayor in all of Canada, and I was the only mayor there. So that means when you match a program in their university, because they have to match, you can't have skilled less, right? You have to have the same skills. When they match them and those programs match, they can come and they can do the job. They just did it in Mahone Bay. I think they got 18, they were gonna have to close down some seniors' homes, and they got 18 people to come in. Who works in seniors' homes? CCAs. Yeah, they got them to come over. So 18 of them, because they couldn't find them in Canada. So if I don't do that, then they go somewhere else. All right, so just to explain why that. It was a great trip and lots done. Almost done this. Mayor's task force got set up because I said, you know what? I'm not the expert, so let's have a table full of people and we sit down and we just hash through some of the items and we come up with stuff. I remember people calling me. The 100 meals came out of the task team. People would call the mayor's office and say, I can eat, or I can eat, or I can buy my meds. I can, put groceries in the fridge, or I can pay my power bill. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to be able to do both. I can't give money at a municipal level. I can't do that. But what we could do is find a way for them to have less of a payout. So if we could provide a meal, and the idea, let's do a meal a week and let people take the money that was spent on that meal and put it in a, not that everybody does that, but you didn't pay $10 for that meal, put it in a jar. And I don't know what hit me. I must have been hungry that day. I said, no, we're gonna do 100 days and we're gonna do every day. Every day on the coldest days of winters, 100 days in a row, we're gonna provide a hot meal for people. Don't ask me how, don't ask me who's gonna pay for it, but we're going to do that. And all I could think was, how many of you have said in the grocery store laughing, if I didn't have to buy groceries, I'd have money, right? We've all said that. So if you don't have to buy this meal, put that money somewhere else. So every day, really, you could put $10 aside. That's $300 a month if you do it. There's $300, there's your power bill at least. So that's paid for. And that was the thought behind that. Tremendously successful. We started in 2018 or 19, and we've been doing it for that long, and people love it. But it was open to everyone, because you might be hungry for food, but you also might be hungry just for company, right? So people would come in and meet each other. So I just love that program. We made it through COVID, and we were averaging, because I remember Julie was laughing at me. She goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm just, I gotta take a count. Some days I was over 500 phone calls and messages, and because people don't understand the difference between the town of Yarmouth and the county of Yarmouth. So the calls were coming. It was a panic. Everybody knows what COVID was like, and it was a panic. So I'd get all the calls and the messages and stuff like that, and my heart just wanted to calm people down. And I remember the kids, and what in the heck are the kids doing in the house? So we had a coloring contest, color for the mayor. And I remember my friend at McDonald's gave me a stack of gift cards. He said, yeah, free meal for every kid that sends one in. I said, okay, but it kept them busy and they were excited and they got to see their stuff online. We did the Veterans Banner Program, which everyone absolutely loves. We've had to go up some side streets. We got a couple new fire trucks. We got another one coming in the future. The Communities in Bloom we've just won awards, and it's not about flowers, it's about the whole community. It's about everything. So we've won that, national awards. We did Doug Melanson Park, and I say we, it's people like Heather, because I don't garden, I go to the dollar store and buy plastic. Okay, the business growth, I don't have to tell you, if you look through town, the different businesses that are here. We did Alertable, because people are like, I don't have information. So imagine trying to maneuver the Vancouver Street thing if you didn't have Alertable, and they were telling you every time, you know, something was going to change on the route or something like that. Every emergency. So if you're not signed up for it, sign up. We closed the streets for yes, I know, this is my favorite. I love this. Like, we had tens of thousands for the Acadian Festival, the Tintamar, and, you know, the Prime Minister was here, and the Premier, and the opposition leader. Okay?
I live here, so it's...
I know, it was easy. Doesn't matter. So that was huge, and it wasn't just, you know, shutting down the street. It's community building, and I think people forget that if you look at the last names
Just
in
remember,
town,
if you guys are thinking about
they,
voting for
you know,
Pam,
their
she's
muses and their Surrettes and their
a liberal
it's all-
supporter, Justin
it's all
Trudeau
mixed.
supporter.
So we just want to bring people together, switch open streets that, you know, we just shut down the streets and let the community use it. This is what your new Mariner Center is going to look like. That's what $40 million looks like. Right? Okay. So I'm gonna go even faster now. How am I doing? Oh, sorry. All right. Okay. That's only some stuff. I mean, I can't keep you here for 6 hours. But sometimes people forget just how much we've done and how long it takes to get things done. So there's housing coming, and I often say, you know what, housing is a provincial issue, because when people are talking about housing, they're talking about affordable housing. We don't do that. Towns do not build housing. We don't do that. But we set the table for it. So we can find land, which we do. We work with the government. We do whatever is humanly possible to make sure that if there's an affordable housing program out there, that everybody that has to know knows. And then our economic development officer works with them, because we just don't, when I say it's not ours, we can't build housing. It's not in our, we just don't do that. So we've got a ton up on the Jarvis Road. If you've ever gone through there, it's a whole new development. And from when I came in, so Ocean Breeze, some of those are affordable. All these places some are affordable, because there's a formula that you have
Affordable
to do.
to who?
The waterfront, there's something coming in very soon. If you haven't seen Shaw Avenue behind the thing where you throw the hardball, bowling alley, it's just testing you. Shaw Avenue, that's already on the go. Like, you'll see that they're working there. So all those pieces are coming together.
I think there's 12
And
units
there's
going
more.
in there. That
I
Dora
can't give you
Construction's
the whole
building
list,
on
there's a
Shaw
lot.
Avenue. That would be right behind the Mermaid,
Whatever, like the agreement.
which is a Best Western,
So-
by the way.
Anyway, the other piece is that the town has to do is we have to look like a decent place for people to go. And just so you know, for the first time since 1994, the town's population went up. It didn't just go up, it went up 5%. That's huge. So people are coming here because they love it, it's growing,
Because
it's
of
fun,
immigration
it's
policy.
vibrant, it's all those things. So we have to make sure that we not only have new housing, we have to make sure that we maintain our old, okay? Because you know what's happening with the old places. They're just being left, and that's not right. So we have lots of bylaws for dangerous and unsightly and all those things, and we're just pushing hard to get some of those places fixed. Waterfront development. So I know some people in this room that are really excited about waterfront development, and we have to make sure that we still maintain that working waterfront, because that's our main industry. But how do you find a path from one end to the other, and places for people to stop and eat and just make a really vibrant place? So we started that committee. Healthcare, including mental health, and again, I wish I could fix it, but I can't. I have nothing to do with healthcare. It's like going to a mechanic and saying, I can't understand why you can't cook me a burger. Like, I don't know why everybody thinks like the mayor can do everything. I can't. I have to stay in my lane. I'm not good in my lane, by the way. I cross sometimes, have conversations. Mental health is really important to me. I mean, and everybody knows this, or most people know it. I wake up every day, I have depression, I have anxiety, and I have PTSD. And I still get up, and, you know, as long as I don't go on the computer, I'm okay. I just, like that, it doesn't affect me. It just don't understand
That shows a little
how
bit
people
of
can
what
be
her
like
true
that if
side
they
is.
don't know you and they don't
She's
know your
very
story.
rude
You know, we
and
President Robert
she
Williams
attacks
that
people
said,
on Facebook
everybody's got
under her
something.
own actual
Let's treat
mayoral
each other
Facebook page.
kindly. So anyway, so mental health is important to me, but so is, you know, getting your prescription and getting your hip replacement and all those things. So the thing that the town can do is work with the government to make those things happen faster so that they understand. Are almost done. Deer management, we're doing a lot on this. I can't go any faster. I can't say to the provincial government, you have to remove these rules. We can't do
The provincial
that.
government
we
has
have to
allowed
follow
other
the law.
municipalities
So there are
deal with the
studies and
deer
there is
population.
proof
So
that has to happen and all
Truro
those things. But I can tell you that
has a plan in place that's been working for them.
I wasn't very polite.
So
at
it's
the
not
last
necessarily
meeting.
the province that's stopping it. That's just another way of plan deflecting. Because there's other municipalities in this province that do have remedies for the deer management issues that they have in their communities.
You've got to move it, please. Anyway, because I don't know how else to say it, so I think I came across as rude, but oh well, once in a while it's not bad. But we've got to do something about this, but I need you to know that the town is doing everything we can possibly, and then some. We're helping them understand, like, we can't do 2 more years of this. Who wants to count deer pellets? Okay, paving roads, in case you don't know this. If you live in town, you pay for all your roads, okay? If you cross the county line, the province pays for those. Aren't you lucky? Okay? So all we can do, and I've been president of NSFM before, is just tell the government it's not working. Because every weekday, my population goes from 7,000 to over 20,000 people driving on our roads, and we're paying for them. Which is fine, because we love to have the people. We love it. So it's not a come in, it's an issue with helping the government understand that we can't do this. We just can't do it. And your taxes, by the way, pay for provincial roads. So you're paying for theirs, but it doesn't work backwards. So we're going as hard as we can. And you have to dig when we pave in Yarmouth, because our house is 200 years old, because our roads are 100 whatever years old, we have to dig everything up. So what should cost 100,000 costs 4 million. So that's not fun. We're doing a municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw review of all land bylaws. That's coming. We've been working on that actually for months. Relationships and partnerships are really important. We can't do it alone. I don't think, when people in Argyle or Carleton or someone, you say, where do you live? They usually say Yarmouth, because it's the center. So we need to build relationships. The First Nations community as well, because it's just, and they've taught me so much. They've taught me so much. Need to get that ferry back. I'll leave that right there, okay? The art gallery, I think we know that they kind of took that out of here, so there's a little bit of movement on that. We're trying to work on that, and I'll say it because everybody doesn't play hockey, okay? Everyone doesn't play hockey. There's a lot of people in the arts, and arts is everything from putting paint to canvas, to dance, to singing, to music, all those things in between. So we've got to have a place, I say art gallery, but arts, art space, okay? The relationships and partners we mentioned, and the advocacy role for the future, like to just keep pushing. So when I go to Halifax, I'm not going because I like Swiss Chalet, although I do. I'm going because face to face, you have so much impact, and we have to have those conversations, and that's the mayor's job to go do those things. And then community engagement's the last one I put up there. And this is not all encompassing, but we just have to make sure that we've been doing a lot of engagement. Doesn't mean a lot of people come. Sometimes town hall's packed. Sometimes, depending on the item, nobody's there, but that's okay. As long as we're inviting, and we have a get involved Yarmouth site that anybody can add anything to. So, oh, my kids are gonna get so embarrassed. Whoops. I'm finished in 2 minutes, but I had to put this up. These are my 3 children. As people say, why do you do what you do? I love the town. I think you wouldn't be here if you didn't love it. I love it. I've grown up here, but my children, 2 of my children are here, and also my granddaughter was just here. So I have grandchildren. Some of you have grandchildren and children and cousins and everybody, and this is for them. Like, we can't just do what we do and leave it. We have to make sure that we're preparing everything for the future. So when council makes a decision, we're not thinking about us, we're thinking about what happens 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road. That's how you have to think as a council member. That's Haley, she was just here. Did she have to go? Yeah, Robbie wasn't feeling well. Okay, that's my youngest and my son and my sister, my daughter-in-law in Saskatoon. That's my grandpuppy. That's my grandpuppy there. My granddoggy. And my other daughter who's sitting here saying, Mom, what did you do? So, I'm just going to say this to finish up. It took an hour, but you know what? I said it'd be an hour. Sorry. Town hall. All I can say is this job is no joke. It's not easy, not even this much. But I freaking love it. I love it because I love people. I love the little changes that we can make. I love being able to look into the future and see what can happen and then make it happen. I love our diversity. Like, you know what I like about our diversity the most? The food. I love the food because I'm Lebanese, so there's always Lebanese food in my kitchen. But I'll bet your mama's right, Mexican, Indian food, Mexican food, Lebanese food. I mean, we've got it all here. We've got it here because we're a welcoming community, and it's working. The job is, I'm saying this because I need folks to understand. There's a difference between not easy, and I've never taken the easy road, and loving what you do. And I love what you do. I would say, Zach, you're the same thing. It's not easy, but you love what you do.
Most days.
Yeah, most days. Yeah, exactly. So there's a great deal of commitment. I think you take a beating, you get misquoted, you know, people think you can do everything, and that's okay. You kind of roll with most of the punches, and then you do what you believe is the best for the community anyway. So anyway, you know why we're here. We've got an election, and we're hoping that this is helpful for people to understand more about what we're doing and where we've been and all those pieces. So I'm good for questions. Look at that, I'm sorry, but if you have to go, you can go. Any questions? No?
I have a question.
Yes, I got yours, and thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
I do have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So you were talking about lobbying a university in Jordan for trades individuals. I'm wondering what lobbying you've done with the local trade school to lower tuition fees or things like that to make trade school more accessible for Canadians and people in the community.
Yeah, did you hear his question? And it's a good question. He's saying, like, I went to Jordan because that's where the folks were that were ready to come. But he's saying, what about advocating, with the local trade schools to get them to do anything they can to make it more accessible, really, for people to do that. So I can't tell you what the programs are, but I know that, for example, you probably know better than I do, but the province has worked with them because they're their schools, like the campuses are their schools, and they've done they've lessened how much you have to pay to get in to some of the programs.
Those wouldn't include trades programs. Those would include nursing and CCA programs, as
That's
well
it.
as early childhood education. So my 2-year course cost me $26,000 in student loans to go take to be a carpenter.
Zach, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Brett, we often chat about skill trainings.
Yeah, can you just maybe quickly just say, we wanna know what has the province done, because I can't do anything there, but, except I do talk to them, I want you to know that, I'm at that table. But to help get into the skilled trades, because they've made some changes.
I don't love the changes that were made, so the current government, I'm the leader of the opposition, brought in a income tax incentive to get into the skilled trades. It's not heavily used. We haven't seen a big uptake in folks pursuing skilled trades as a result of that. I personally think one of the big things we need to do, on top of recruiting skilled trade workers from around the world, is make it more affordable to get into the programs themselves. And we need more women in the skilled trades. 95% of our skilled tradesmen are men. There's not a lot of women in that field, and I think that's another way for us to ensure we get higher levels of participation from people who are living here too, with a really underrepresented segment of our population who have a lot to contribute. So that's my thought. That's my thought on it.
Thank you, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
And thank you for the answer. I really appreciate it.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Reach out.
Thank you. Okay, any more questions? We good? All right. Great job. There's still juice and stuff. Thank you.
Zach, I appreciate that answer. I really do.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Have a good time.
Yep, sure. Hey, Randy. See you later, man. Have a good one. Enjoy the school year, all right? Hi, guys. Looking like this is about to round up, so... No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I ate before I came. No, it's fine. I appreciate it, though. I do. I appreciate it. No, that's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I know you're fine. I appreciate it.
Have supper?
Oh, I'll make supper at home for my kids tonight. That's fine. I appreciate it, though.
What are we gonna do with it?
Potentially go downtown and see if there's anybody that would like it. There's a lot of...
Put it in the food bin.
Exactly. There's food bins that it could go into. I'm sure there's plenty of people in the town that might be less fortunate than I am, that might enjoy some of these treats more than I would.
We are packing them up. Dad's gonna deliver them.
Perfect. I didn't think they would go to waste. Like it's too expensive to go to waste. Like trust me, I buy fruit and vegetables for my kids, so I get it. I understand. I think looks like everybody's clearing out, so I think we're gonna head out. Maybe we'll do a little finish up here once we get out of Jacob's Law. But all right, let's get out of here and try and work our way out. Well, we can see here that Bailey Pam doesn't really... This is such an interesting spot. Like I said, I've had no idea. Look at this nice wood stove. So the insert. No idea that this place is even here. I'm gonna turn my camera around. So here I am, guys. So that was the meet and greet with Pam Moot, the current mayor of Yarmouth. So I wanted to stay for the entire thing, which I did. It's pretty much the first person there. So, you can see they weren't very happy about me filming, but that's okay. It's not really gonna deter me from any sort of journalistic privileges that I am afforded. So I hope you guys really liked this video. It is a long video. I'm sure I'll do some editing into shorts, and this will be published hopefully later on tonight. But I'd really like to know what your guys' opinions are on some of the things that she talked about, some of her campaign promises, and just some of the statements that she made before her speech that she made, as well as after. And you know, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the more people that this gets out to, the better. We need to know more about our elected officials, as well as the candidates that we're voting for, So as you could see in there wasn't a very massive turnout of individuals. It was mostly her staff that was there supporting her as well as her family. So I think a lot of people will benefit from seeing this video. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you on Tuesday at the Chamber of Commerce here in Yarmouth, where they're doing a town councillor as well as mayor and mayoral candidate meet and greet at the Rod Grand Hotel between 7 and 9 p.m. So if you guys are local and you're in Yarmouth and you want to go attend that and ask some questions and speak to people that are running for office, that would be your opportunity to do so before the start of the electoral voting period, which is between October 9th and 19th. So once again, thanks for watching. This was a long one. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Take it easy.